Hi there and welcome to Bitrix24 Live. My name's Andy and I'm the support manager here at Interface. We are gold partners of Bitrix24 and we offer a range of different services for Bitrix. So we offer premium support, we can demonstrate Bitrix to you, and we can go from taking Bitrix through to the completion of your project. So this hour is to answer any questions that you may have on Bitrix. Consider it as a free hour of support. So if you do have any questions, whether it's on the cloud version of Bitrix or the self-hosted, then I have both systems set up to answer any questions you may have. So we have, just to point out what you can see at the moment, we have an office in the US, the UK and in the UAE, in Dubai. So please just take note of our contact details. If you do have any questions that can't be answered in this session, then you can get in touch with us using the details that are on the screen. So if you do have questions, please put them in the box provided on YouTube, or you can send them via email to live@interface.com, and if we don't cover them today, we can cover them next week. So we're here every week at 10 AM Eastern Time on the Bitrix24 YouTube channel. So if you're watching now, then you've probably subscribed to Bitrix, because they will send an email out to you notifying you of this live session. So we do have some questions that have come in already via email. So let me just pull up those questions now. And one of the first ones was with regards to configuring email. So in Bitrix, you can configure your email, whether you're in the cloud version or the on-premise version. The mechanisms of how email works inside Bitrix is exactly the same. So I'm in the cloud version, you can see at the moment, and in the left-hand side you can see webmail. So you click into webmail, and what I'll do first of all, let me just disable our account here. So if you haven't integrated your email already, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to ask you to choose your mail service provider. So obviously there's some quite popular ones here: Gmail, Outlook, Office 365. If you don't have an email client such as that you're using as that, you can always click on IMAP and provide your email IMAP credentials, which you should be able to do with any domain hosting company. You should be able to get those details for your email. So I'm going to connect Outlook. We've got a sample Outlook account in here, and what I can do is interface demo at outlook.com, click on next, and your password. Maybe we might have to verify this, so let's try a different method and let's go into Gmail. I can set up my Gmail account. And what it will do, it will ask you, it wants to access your mail. Click on allow, and then you can see that it's authenticated your email account. So I could have connected Outlook, I just would have had to go through a few verification steps with my mobile number, but in this case it's a lot quicker and easier to show you. So I've connected my email here. If you don't want to bring in any emails at all, just uncheck the fetch messages. You can send outgoing email from Bitrix as well, so you can just put in your password again for your Gmail account. But the main power of connecting your email into Bitrix is the link and CRM integration. So any emails that you send, whether it's out of Bitrix or in my case out of Gmail, it will take a look at that email, and if the person that I'm emailing exists in the CRM, then it will take a copy and put it into that contact's or company's activity stream. And vice versa, if the client was to then email me back, I don't have to be in Bitrix. As long as I've got it integrated like this, Bitrix will check to see who the email is coming from, and it will append it to the contact or company again that exists in the CRM if they do. So you have a number of different options in here. So linking to the CRM will do the functionality that I've just mentioned. We also have the ability to create a lead for incoming messages. I would generally say probably don't create a lead for, unless it's a mailbox that you want to connect, because you can connect multiple. So you may have something like sales at intraface.com or hello at intraface.com that is an email address that generates leads. In that case, it would be a really powerful tool to create them from that source. You can also create contacts in the CRM for all new email addresses that you're sending to. So again, these are all really powerful ways to collect data and populate your CRM automatically, and you can create contacts using the attached V card. So again, it's up to you. One of the points, if you are connecting a mailbox for the sole purpose of generating leads, I'd probably recommend creating a new source for your email. So we may want to have, I don't know, website free sign up, and that will allow you to tailor make your automation rules based on that particular source. So it is really useful. So if you click on here, click on connect, it will connect up. It may take a little bit of time to sync your email up on here, but I'm not fetching any emails in. But what it would do if you're fetching your emails for a week, you would basically use Bitrix, and you don't have to, as your email inbox. So you'll be able to see all the emails in here like you would any normal email client. And you can do certain things on here with regards to manually forwarding it to create a lead. So you don't have to have the automation set up. You can also create a task and make somebody responsible for a particular email straight directly from your mail inbox. So things like that are a really powerful way of using Bitrix Mail. I don't think at the moment these N3 here, so discussing activity stream, discussing chat, and create a calendar event, are actually available. I think they're grayed out when the email actually comes in. But that will be coming very soon, and again, it's a way of collaborating on emails that you need to collaborate on, because obviously not every single one of them is going to be added as a task, but you can forward, like you say, click on the create task button as long as you've got the email selected, and you can create a task. You'll take a copy of that email and put it in the task. So I don't know if anybody's got any further questions about the email. The question was really with regards to setting it up. It's as simple as that. So you would just click into webmail, click on the client that you use, and then select the options to tailor it. You can always change it, configure it at a later date. You can click on mailbox settings and it will come up with here, so you can alter and edit the settings that you want. Whilst we're going there, another one of the questions that we get commonly asked is, can we have email signatures? And this is where, again, you would be able to add your own email signatures in here. So again, another useful tool if you are using Bitrix as your primary email client. Yeah, you can add your own signatures on there as well. So you don't just have to connect one email, you can connect multiple. So I can connect a new here, and maybe we have clients of ours that use additional emails for support. So you could connect a support mailbox up here and have it generate. We can have every every email that comes into the support, we could theoretically create a task for that. So we've got a question just with regards to the emails. How can a business process be triggered from an incoming email of a contact? Is it easy to trigger automation from an incoming email? It is easy from a lead, but how do you for a contact or a company? Yeah, good question. The automation triggers are basically found on the leads and the deals. If you wanted it to come from an incoming, I don't think you could in terms of the business process. Yeah, I don't think you could at the moment. It's a good question. I'll have to come back to that and I'll have a think about that and see how you can. I've not seen it done going into a contact or a company. You maybe could use a trigger for, I don't know if it would trigger it if the incoming email. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a good question. I'll have to come back to that. But with regards to, if you, like I say, mentioning with regards to coming back to this question, if you wanted to create multiple, you certainly can do in here. So that's we'll just go into that a little bit more with regards to leads and the deal automation with the question that was just asked. It is easy, but again, it's a common question that we get. How can we trigger automation based on an incoming email? Then what we can do is, if we go into the CRM and have a look at the automation rules, then what we can do is click on configure, and we would use a trigger to say add incoming email, and we can have it as that. So what this would mean is, if I just say incoming email, click on save. So if an email comes in and you've got your email integrated, and it comes in from the email address that exists on the lead, then it will check in the lead that those emails match, and it will automatically move the lead on to initiated status here based on the incoming email. And then it will follow through on all the automation rule actions here. So it's a good way of gauging interest. So you could send out an email marketing campaign from Bitrix and have it, if they were to reply to that email, you could automatically move a lead on based on them replying to that particular email. So what do I have to do to configure if I want an email to one email account to create a ticket in the help desk? So that's a little bit different. So if we go into the self-hosted, and for those of you that have not seen the self-hosted before, it does offer a helpdesk module. So if you click into the control panel within here, and then with it's a bit of a different email setup, but if you go into services, and we'll just close some of these down, then we have a mail section here. So we need to click into mailboxes, and then what we would do is we would add a system email. So we click a system email here, and we would create, for example, in this case, support at interface. So if we were to go into here, we would set it up in here with the credentials that you need to. So it's basically just setting up your email account in here. And then what we would need to do is apply a rule to that email address. So it's a little bit different, like I say, in the on-premise version. Click into rules, and then Bitrix comes with a standard rule already pre-built into it that allows you to create a support ticket based on that. So that would be add message to tech support. So you can see here, adding message to tech support is already assigned to the email address support at interface. And if I was to click in here and modify, then you can see we've got it disabled at the minute. So you would usually have applied to events when receiving the email, so you would have that checked. Then we can do conditions on this. So we can say if the subject contains a specific, I don't know, a specific word, we could put urgent as a way to trigger this support ticket up here. So we could just say subject. And then what you can do, you can see here, these are the standard rules, and we can say identify registered user by email address. So that would mean if the user is a user in your system. And the good thing is with the on-premise version is you can have extranet users as your support clients. So that would allow your extranet user to log into your support portal, which is your extranet site basically in Bitrix, submit tickets via that method. But if they were to email this inbox, it would identify them as that particular user. So if they were to email support@intraface.com, it would create a ticket based on this rule that you can see at the moment. And it would also, when they log in, they would be able to see that particular ticket that's been raised. So you can see here there's some settings and configurations you would need to set up. But if I go back to the front end of the site in here and just click on our extranet. So our extranet looks a little bit different, but you can see on the left hand side we have a support option. So when your extranet user logs in to your extranet site, so your extranet user is your support client, they can log in and view a list of all their tickets, whether they've emailed them in using that particular mailbox rule, or whether they've come in here and manually created a support ticket. So they'll be able to see in here. So that's generally how you would set it up. Do you guys have plans for adding some kind of accounting basic functionality like recording bills, salary payments and allowances? So I know there's nothing built in at the moment. There is some basic functionality in terms of things like expenses and more towards the HR side of things with leave management. In terms of salary payments, you would have to be built in custom at the moment. I'm not aware of anything that's planned. A lot of people do integrate with their accounts package. So if their accounts package, for example, I know Bitrix integrates with Xero, QuickBooks. I think there are quite a few others accounting packages. So a lot of people integrate that way, whilst that sort of functionality is going to be coming into Bitrix. But I don't know at the moment if we've got recording bills and salary payments and allowances is in there. With regards to if you wanted to submit expenses and things like that, then I don't know if you're aware, but when you go into the system, it does have some pre-built workflows in. So on the left-hand side, if you're on a paid version of Bitrix, you click into workflows. In the top, we've got workflows in activity stream. And like I say, if you're on a paid version, you can click into workflows directory, and you can see here we can install the standard workflows. And basically what these are referring to is if I go back into the activity stream here, click into more, click into workflow, and then we can trigger, for example, our expense report. We can say who the approvers are, say who the accountant is in the company, click save, and then we basically have a form we can fill out. So I could say travel UK US 5,000 US dollars. I can add a receipt, click on send. What that will do is that will then get sent to our accountant. They would need to approve it, and then it would get sent to the final approver of the person who I selected, which was myself. That data then would get stored in, to go back to the workflows, into our expense report. So you can see here, you would have a list of all submissions for these particular expenses, and you can see based on who approves it, we can say it's been approved, and we can see where it is in the chain of command when you submit that particular expense. So in terms of expenses and things like that, that's the only basic functionality there is at the moment. But yeah, so hopefully that just gives you a clue of where you can go to. You can create your own workflows in here, and you can access them all via this particular section in here. So do keep your questions coming. Like I say, we're here for another 30-40 minutes. So one of the other questions that came in fairly recently as well was, does Bitrix Cloud and on-premise come with two-factor authentication? And the answer is yes, it does. So Bitrix, if we go into, I'm on the cloud version on the screen at the moment, if we go into the profile and click into security, then you can see here we have an extra security option of having a one-time password, two-step authentication on your phone. So you can enable this, and we can see how we can do it. So you just have to follow the instructions. So that's on the cloud in your profile. If we go into the on-premise version, try and remember where this one is. So if we go into settings, proactive protection, and then two-step authentication. So again, we've got this disabled on ours on our demonstration site. And again, if you follow the instructions, you can get that set up for here. So hopefully that answers that particular question. There is some more details on the Bitrix24 website on two-factor authentication. Yeah, just with regards to the question with the wiki from the external website with no logging in, yeah, it's not going to be possible, unfortunately. I mean, the person who below has just said, if you want to use the Bitrix API, yeah, you could do that, but you probably maybe use maybe Bitrix24 site. I'm going to come into, I've got a couple of questions about that coming. You could create a wiki on a Bitrix24 site maybe. But yeah, you couldn't, if you're creating a standard wiki, whether it's in a work group or in the main portal, you couldn't grant access to it without logging in. Okay, so the next question that's come in was with regards to the purpose. They didn't want to use Bitrix24 as their main site, which is, it's absolutely fine. It's up to you how you build and have your sites. But Bitrix does offer the capability of creating multiple sites. So you can create sites for landing pages. So if you go to sites, it's pretty straightforward to create a new site. In Bitrix, you just click on create site, and you have a lot of different templates to use. But I think what the value of this is, they are quick and easy to build based on the content that we have from these templates. So you can see here, we've got this one's got a contact form on the left-hand side and a title. A lot of people and a lot of our clients are now using these particular styles of templates. So let's just say, let's create this one for an example. And click on, use it as red, click on create site. And what I've seen a lot of people do is they've got this particular section up here, so they may want to bin, and then we can bin the other sections here. So we can delete the rows. It's as simple and easy as clicking on delete to, not sure how tall this is, but I'll just show you what I'm trying to get at with regards to landing pages. So it may be yeah, let's just maybe let's get rid of everything in here and just keep the footer. So a lot of people have just create a Bitrix24 site for a landing page. You can see it's just taken me literally 30 seconds to come to a page with a background image, slight footer. We've got one of our forms on here, and we can put a little bit of promotional material on the right hand side. And then that gives you the ability to create an email marketing campaign directly linked to this page to sign up for a particular offer or service, and then this can therefore generate a lead inside Bitrix using your CRM forms. And everything within this section is pretty easy to tailor and edit. So click on edit here. We can change the background image. We've got an example, if we go back to Bitrix, on here for our landing page for free cake. If we click on here and visit the site, you can see pretty much similar to what we've just looked at, but it's tailor-made to somebody that wants to promote their cake business. And you can have, must have disabled the form here, but you can see that we've got a quick and easy form to fill in, some flavours of the cake, and you can offer anything you want on there. And linking directly to these pages, you can host them on your own domain. Common question is, do these websites that get created have an SSL certificate? Because it's very important now that newly created websites are getting the right security level. Bitrix will automatically add a SSL certificate to your site for free that you create. So yeah, it's really useful. Yes, somebody said this is a very good idea for using it. Yeah, I think it really is. I think, like I say, a lot of people have WordPress sites that they've spent a long time building and using. These are really quick and really easy to set up. Depending on what package you have, I think the free version, you can create one site. So you could just keep creating landing pages like that. And the more you go, I think up to professional, I can't remember how many, you can find out on the Bitrix24 website. The on-premise version, you can create an unlimited amount on here. Yeah, so I just got to mention about a little conversation with regards to plenty of free applications, and you're right, you can pretty much integrate with well, a lot of things in here. So on the left hand side, for those of you, I think you're fairly new to Bitrix, we've got it hidden on our menu, but on the left hand side you've got an applications link, and basically this is the application store for Bitrix. So it comes with a wide range of applications that you can integrate with. So this is from expenses through to, like I mentioned earlier, QuickBooks, Xero, if you're wanting to look at financial information. But have a search around in here, have a look at what you can do in terms of what you're wanting to integrate with. Some of Bitrix built themselves, some third-party applications, so it's worth having a check in here. One of the most common that we deal with is if you ever want to send text messages out of Bitrix, so if you want to send a message to your CRM contacts or companies, you would need to integrate with a third-party SMS provider. So that's one of the common ones that we definitely integrate with in here. And there's obviously additional costs to some of these. They are free to integrate, free to download in the initial case, but if you are integrating with an SMS provider, then you are going to need to obviously pay for each message that you send out of the system. So that is a very popular one in terms of connecting applications. So have a search around. It's available on the free version of Bitrix or the paid version or the on-premise version. You can integrate there. Why in the self-hosted version I cannot see all the applications to integrated? Why my version is limited? I'm not sure. Would just get in touch. We could probably take a look. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't have any limitations of what you can see inside the application store. And yeah, not at all. Whilst you're in here, another common question that we get is about integrating yourself. So if you've got an application that can post data, so a common one we integrate with is other CRMs, whether it's Salesforce, Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, things like Jira and so on. If you can push information via the API out to those systems, then you can post them using one of the webhooks inside. They're really easy to create. Click on add webhook, add an inbound webhook, and you can see here, click on create a webhook for the CRM, click save, and then you get the REST call URL. So it's unique for this particular system, and then all you would need is some of the API details to append onto the end of this on here. So just got a different question that's come through. A business process to create tasks in a work group is easy. I think, yeah, we've been through that quite a few times on live, but what about when tasks are complete, giving access permissions to the person that completed the tasks to a folder or file in a different work group? Yeah, so you can't set permissions as standard on a business process. So we obviously can trigger create the work group, create the tasks. You can't as such change permissions. You certainly can't do it in the cloud version. You may be able to do it in the, it's not something that we've seen before, it may take a little bit of thinking about, but if we go back to our intranet on the self-hosted version and just take a look in the business processes section, click into settings and click into automation and business processes, and wherever you're going to be creating this, we would have to use the PHP block. We would need to find out the ID of the other workgroup that you want to, and then set the permissions on a PHP block. So that's using, this is the only, probably one of the main differences between the self-hosted and the cloud, is that we would use the API to, in here, to change those permissions. Alternatively, I'm just trying to think, if you're wanting to give access to somebody to a folder in a different work group, they would obviously need to be in that work group, unless again you use a bit of PHP code to add them to the different work group. But if they were already in that work group, then you can set the permissions within the work group already. So you could set all members to be able to see, as I'm sure you're aware, what if the workgroup on file is always known and static. Yeah, the work depends as if the user is in that particular work group already. If you wanted to put them in, yeah, you would have to use some code to be able to add that permission. There's no block within this designer tool where you could change your permission on a particular folder. You could create a folder and you can't assign permissions on that. It's standard in the business process tool. Can a project workgroup have multiple automation rules? Not 100% sure what you mean by that. I mean, if you're talking about the workgroups in here, and then let's go into a project workgroup, one of ours. So if you're talking about these automation rules, then what you would have to do is, yeah, you could only have one set of automation rules per project if this is what you're referring to. I don't believe you can can have, because you can see here, once a project gets created, it's going to create a new set of automation rules. Don't think you can have multiple automation rules for one particular work group in a project. One of the common questions we usually get is, if you create a project, can you have sub-projects? Then unfortunately not. You would have to create, it would be really useful, and I think we are looking at developing something like that, but at the moment you can only have singular projects. Okay, good questions coming in anyway, keep them coming. We have probably the last one that I have that already came in, just with regards to, have covered it before, with regards to the CRM side of Bitrix, and we have the ability to create documents. And you can basically create any document in the CRM, pulling data from whichever element that you want. So from can you do it in a lead? Let me just double check. You can do it in a lead. Yeah, so you can create a document in a lead, or a deal, or a company, or a contact, or a quote, or an invoice. And this is on the cloud and the self-hosted. And you can see in here, if we click on documents, add new template, then we can create a set of templates using Microsoft Word. You can then style up whatever document you want to look like. And I think next week we'll probably show an example of this, because we don't have one built on this demonstration site. But we have clients upload templates for proposals, for contracts, for we've just done one for a delivery note, and basically what it allows you to do is you set up the template in a Word document, and you can pull in any field in Bitrix CRM into that document. So think about it as if you are generating a proposal or a contract. Think of it, you need to pull in, let's say for example, in our case, we need to bring in this field, booking type. Now, what we can do is click into the gear, click into fields, and then if I type in booking, then it's going to bring in this particular field up here. So I can just click on copy. That will copy this symbolic code. I just have to paste that into my Word document, into the area in the place where I want it, and it will populate it based on the information that is within the lead itself. So it's quite a powerful tool. Once you generate a document, so if I wanted to bring in company example, then what it's going to do, it's going to show me a preview of the PDF, so I can make sure everything's right on here. I can simply click on the download button, and if I want to download it as a PDF or a Word document, or I can email it out or send via SMS. So it's, like I say, it's really powerful, and one of the more aspects of it. What happens to my drive when I switch back to Bitrix24 free if it's already above 5 gig before I downgraded? It's a very good question, and I don't think you would be able to. I think you would have to make the drive smaller before you got it down, so you would have to download. I mean, it's got the Bitrix24 drive has got a great facility now. Let's check in here. It's got the drive cleanup. And you can see in here what space you are taking up. And if you go into the advanced mode, you can see where and which groups and which drives are taking up the most space. So yeah, it's a good question. Maybe we can come back to you on. I don't know what would happen if you were to downgrade after having the maximum, above the maximum that you're allowed on the free version. So yeah, I think you would. I don't think it would let you until you took documents out, or you wouldn't be able to access certain documents inside Bitrix. So he said it's going to get erased. The Russians don't waste space. I don't think it would get erased. I think it would stop you from doing so until you cleared the data out. Okay, yeah, good question still. Let's have a look if we have any more. I don't think I've got any more that have come in. I can cover a couple. Let me just check. Yeah, so one of the questions, there is a question that actually did crop up this week, again with regards to some of our clients, is just about the document space and the usage of Bitrix. And for those of you that maybe use something like Dropbox or another document provider, Google Drive, for example, and you're thinking about moving your documents into Bitrix, then generally how Bitrix works is you have one company drive. So you have a central repository for all your company files, so things like policies and client folders in here. And then what you generally would do, the question was really with reference to permissions, and with the permission side of things, so let's just say the company drive in Bitrix, you have this on the cloud and the self-hosted, is your central repository for documents. Then you would have an overall drive structure, drive permission structure. So again, this is, you can see on here, group, the user group administrators has full access to all the documents and folders inside the document drive, and then employees would only have read-only rights. So that wouldn't allow them to download the document, or that wouldn't allow them to upload new documents into the company drive. So you need to set your permission structure on the whole drive itself to start off with. And you do so, like I say, if you just click on Save, you do so by clicking up here and clicking on Assign Permissions. And then per folder, what you can do is set permissions on a folder by folder or a file by file basis. So if I wanted to, let's just say, test doc, if I click into here, at the moment you won't be able to see any access permission link. If I go back into my access, assign permissions, click on the enable extended permissions for individual files and folders, what I can do now is go into test doc, see access permissions, and we have different access permissions on this folder. So what I could do maybe is deny access to anybody on the system other than the user group administrators to this folder. So if I clicked on Save Now, what would happen when a normal user came in to this particular company drive? They wouldn't be able to see this folder. Only the group administrators would be. So you have some goals for the company for 2019. How do I set those ones and create tasks to achieve them without creating a task inside of another task? So, I mean, it depends really. I mean, I would probably create a work group maybe for your company goals. And what you could do is, if we click, let's just create one on here. So we'll create a private group. And then we could say, let's just call it company goals. And only you, or you can invite some members of your team into here. And then you can assign whatever features that you want to use within here. Click on create group. And then what I would do is specify the topic. And instead of creating tasks inside tasks, the good thing about this is if I was to create a task in here, it would be appended to our company goals. We could, based on this, we could have our own company goals Kanban, so we could see the progression of our company goals on here, which would be really useful. Click into here, we can default, and I could say, I don't know, we could rename this goal progression, progress, well, goal progress number 1, goal progress number 2, 3, 4 and 5. And when you create a task in here, let's just say goal 1, assign the responsible person, will automatically be assigned to here, and then you can see company goals, goal 1. And you can work your way through this particular one. So if you would then go to your tasks, you could then, only you would be able to see these, you could then see your company goals and have a list of them all. You could complete them one by one. Is there another way to listen to messages received through telephony other than downloading them? So yeah, you should be able to see the recordings of all calls, whether they've left a message. So if you click into telephony, I'm not sure, I'm just going to think, we're not sure if I've got this set up. If you click into itemized bill, and then you will be able to see a recording in here. You press play and it should play it within, you won't have to download it. There's usually a play icon like this. So you click on play and it would start playing the particular recording of that. So you can have the option to download as well, but you said you didn't want to download the particular file. So yeah, you would come into your itemized billing and see all the recordings. And that's not just people who leave a message either, that's for people who, like I say, you actually record the calls, and this is the location to come to see all the recordings on here. So again, it's really the really powerful nature of Bitrix is that if you want to use Bitrix as a telephony provider, it's as simple as the easiest way would be to rent a number from Bitrix. So you can rent a number here. You can specify what country. So if I said the USA, we had a local number, specify the state, specify the region, and you can see it's $4. And you obviously, the Bitrix do have calling rates, so you would have to check what the calling rates are on the Bitrix24 website. But it brings with it a whole range of powerful tools to use. So you've got call recording. Yes, when somebody calls, it pops up with the person in the CRM's calling card. The call recording gets associated to the contact who's calling. You can pick up people ringing this number. If you're logged into the Bitrix24 mobile app, you can pick up the call on your mobile. And using through the mobile application, and yeah, if you're in the CRM, you can click on it and it will use the telephony. You can dial out using the keypad here, or you can use a CRM marketing to do voice broadcasting marketing, so you can do robocalls through the marketing. So there's quite a lot of areas where Bitrix telephony is a really powerful tool to use inside Bitrix. So hopefully that answers the question on telephony. Just got a few minutes left. I don't know if you want to get any more questions in. Run out of questions that have come through the week. I just put our details on the screen for the moment. So like I mentioned right at the beginning, we are here every Thursday at 10 AM Eastern Time. We also have a webinar that focuses on a particular area on Mondays at 11 AM Eastern. So we focus on things like telephony, Bitrix24 sites, projects, the CRM, business processes, and there's a couple more, I think. I have a work group for each big goal: grow customer base, but inside are other goals, milestones, hire sales team, attend more events. Inside of these is where I want to put the tasks. I mean, the only way to do it in that case would, you can only do head task, subtasks. You could have a task in a checklist, but I can't see any other way of, like hire sales team, you would then have a series of subtasks within there. I think that's the only way I could see that working. But yeah, going back to who we are, so we're Interface, we're gold partners, located in those 3 locations that you can see on the screen at the moment. We do offer personalised demonstrations, we offer support, so if you want telephony, telephone support or ticketing, we also offer that. I've got a question: can task completion trigger phase of a business process, assuming the original task has created? Yeah, certainly. I'll just jump into that, probably going to be the last question. So if we go into, let's just say that we've got a business process that's been triggered in the CRM. So if we go into the settings, let's go into business processes, and we'll go into company. Let's just click on create project, which is maybe one that we've done before. So what you could do is click on the task, click on the gear icon, and you see here pause process while task is running. Click on yes, and then until that task has been marked as completed, will it only then progress through to the next phase. And some people have sub workflows. I don't know if you're aware that you can do sub workflows in here, but you can click on here and then bring in run workflow in here. So you could actually pass details from this particular workflow into another workflow. So you can click into here. If I wanted to click into company, and then I can select another of the business processes that's in here. So that's probably how, and then you can pass, you can see that the create invoice needs some parameters that you can pass, and you can pass from one to another. It stops the business process being absolutely huge, because you can have subsets. And the other positive about passing through to sub workflows is that how business processes in this case work is that when a business process is triggered, it takes a snapshot of what that business process looks like. So if your business process is huge, it will take all the information in here at that given point. So if you were to change the business process in 6 months and this business process was still running, it would look like it did 6 months ago. However, if you've got sub workflows, it doesn't take a snapshot of what they look like. So you can be editing this particular workflow that you're triggering here in 6 months. The original business process might not have got to it, and you could still be editing it, and then as soon as that point is triggered, it will look like it does at that current state. So it's another good way of doing it. Okay, so there are contact details. We do have, somebody just mentioned about the US, so those are details on the screen for the US office. So please do get in touch if you have any questions. But I think that's it. Thank you very much for your time today. And like I say, I'll be here next Thursday at 10 AM Eastern time. I think Damien might be back with us then, so we'll have a couple of us. So yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you for webinar on Monday morning at 11 AM Eastern Time.